Hello campers, welcome back to day 5. Can you believe it's Friday already here at Camp Onseyawa 2020? I mean, this year is just flying by. I bet you guys are starting to feel like experts doing all this cooking in your kitchen and gathering plants outside your home. Now today, we've got another exciting plant that we're going to learn how to identify and cook. And that is wild carrots. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, I never see wild carrots. But guess what? You see them all the time, and you might not even know that they're wild carrots. And that's because they go by a different name. And that's Queen Anne's lace. Take a look at this picture. Now, before we go out harvesting Queen Anne's lace, we gotta lay down our ground rules again. Remember, only pick it if you're sure that it's Queen Anne's lace. Make sure you have an adult with you to supervise. And what I want to show you now are some very poisonous plants that look pretty similar. Take a look at this picture here. This is hemlock. And take a look at this picture here. This is wild parsnips. Now, as you can see, the flowers look very similar. But luckily, there's one surefire way to tell if it's a wild carrot or one of these poisonous plants. And that's the very middle of the flower. The middle of the flower on a wild carrot has one or two single little dark purple or black flowers amongst the white flowers. So go ahead and take a look at this picture. Isn't that cool? Did you see the little black flower in the middle? They call it Queen Anne's lace because lace, we don't really use it too much anymore, but in the old days, it was a very popular hobby amongst women where they would sit down and have their friends come over and they would do needlework and they'd make these lace tablecloths and things like that, and they were very beautifully done, and the flower resembles that type of lace work. And the joke with this flower is that Queen Anne, while she was making this lace, she pricked her finger with a needle and a single drop of blood fell into it. So that's why the Queen Anne's lace flower has the one little dark purple or black or red teeny little flower. So as long as you see these white flowers with a little black one in the middle, you know they're wild carrots and they're safe to eat. So how about we grab some scissors and something to put some roots and flowers in, and let's go out and find some. Hi guys, so here we are, and here's the plant we're going to be harvesting today. Queen Anne's lace, also known as wild carrots. Now, there's a few things, like I mentioned, we got to be careful with these because there's some poisonous plants that look just like it. But there's one telltale way to tell if it's a wild carrot and not a poisonous plant like hemlock or wild parsnips. So come on in. Today is a film cameraman. I have your friend from camp, Ozzy. Say hi, Ozzy.
Hello.
So Ozzy, bring the camera on over here and let's get a good look at this flower here. Now, can you guys see the middle of the flower here? Are you in close enough, Ozzy?
I can.
Okay, can you see how it's got, right in the middle, it's got this dark purple, almost black flower right in the middle. Now, wild carrots, that's how you can tell them from similar looking poisonous plants. So as long as it has that middle black flower, then you know that it's Queen Anne's lace. So the root, like I said, is a wild carrot, but we can also eat the flowers. So first we're going to pull up the whole plant and try and get the root. There we go. See how it kind of looks like a carrot, a white carrot? And if you smell it, you know, carrots have a very unique smell. So you can tell just from smelling it that it's a carrot. So what we want here is the root. So we're going to cut the root, put it in our bowl. I cut it, but it didn't go in the bowl. And we also want the flower. The flower you can eat raw, but we're going to take it back and cook it into something. So I'm going to snip that. And we got a couple more little ones on here. We'll take those too. Okay, let's go see if we can find some more of the carrot roots and the flowers. Here's some more, guys. You're going to find these everywhere, especially on the sides of roads and things like that. So we're just going to check for the middle black flower and then pull them up by the root. And we're going to take all the flowers and all the roots we can get. Okay, let's go find a few more. Yep. Okay, let's see if we can get a few more roots. The last one, if they're in really dry, hard ground, a lot of times they break at the bottom. So now we're kind of in a swampy area, so let's see if we can get the whole root. There we go. Got it that time. So we'll take that root. And these flowers too. Pull another one up. There we go. Look at that. It's like a teeny little baby carrot. Oh. Broke that one. Still got a good flower on here though, so we'll take that. Couple more flowers here. Okay, let's try and find one more root. Okay, I think I found our last one. Got it. It's a little teeny one, but it'll do. Okay, let's take these inside and cook them up. Okay, now that we have our plants, let's separate them. If you recall, we picked carrots, but what did we pick? We picked the roots and the flowers. And we cooked them two completely different ways. So let's dump them out. Go. And we'll throw flowers up here. Go. And here's our teeny little wild carrot roots. So let's start with these. So first what we're going to do is throw them in the sink with some cold water, and we're going to give them a good scrub with just the back of a sponge to get all the dirt off them. So when they're nice and clean, see how white they are? It's one thing that's different about wild carrots than the ones you buy in the store. The wild carrots are white. Now, these carrots are a lot harder to eat because they're so tough. So what we're going to do is find a way to make them taste okay. So now that they're nice and clean, now what we'll do is we'll throw them in a little cup of water and we'll microwave them for 2 minutes before cooking them. That'll help soften them up. Just throw in here, fill the water up, and we'll throw it in the microwave, let's say 3 minutes. Okay, now while those are in the microwave softening up, let's get to work on our flowers. We're going to batter these. And this is going to be a similar batter to what we used for our lily flowers, but instead we're doing an egg batter this time. So, we're going to want 2 bowls, and some flour, and an egg, and some salt, and some pepper. Oh, and one more ingredient. Like I said, for frying, we're going to fry them in butter. Now you can use oils and things like that if your parents give you permission, but certain oils kind of boil and splash and can hurt you. Butter is a lot safer to use on an open frying pan. So I recommend this. So we will cut this butter. We don't need the whole stick because we're just making a few flowers. So what I'll do is I'll take about 1/4 of the butter, which is about 2.5 tablespoons. You want to measure it. And I will set this in a little pan here. And you can have your parents start the stove on a low setting. Right there. And we'll let that butter melt while we're doing this. So next what we're going to do is take our egg here and crack it into one bowl, and then we'll take a fork, and you see how the yolk is separated from the white. We want to make it so that it's all the same consistency, so we're just going to mix this all around. There we go. Then what we're going to do is take our bag of flour here, and we're just going to dump some into a little bowl. Should be good. Here's our flowers. So now what we can do is stick our flowers down into the egg. This part's going to be a little dirty. That's okay. Then once they're in the egg, we're just going to move them right over and put them in the flour. And the egg will make all that flour stick to the flour. Not this flour, or not this flour, this flour. The egg helps the flour stick to the flour, if that makes sense. Sounds like our carrots are done microwaving in there, so we can check on those as soon as we're done with this. That didn't work very well. I just tried to do a whole bunch of flowers at once, and now they're all sticking together like slime. So do one at a time and take it slow. It also seems to work better for the bigger flowers. I'm using some of the smaller flowers, and they're just so small that they're not holding up right. So keep that in mind when you go out to find yours. Okay, then you can lick the frosting off your fingers. I'm just kidding, it's pretty gross. Raw egg, flour, dirty outside flowers. How about we just wash it off instead? There we go. Get this out of the way. Let's check our butter and see if it's all melted. There we go. So now all we gotta do is throw them right on. Come on over and get it close up. And you'll hear them kind of sizzling in there. And we're going to cook these until they become a golden brown on both sides. So after a few minutes we'll flip them so that we can get an even cook on both sides. Okay, let's check on the carrots in the cup. Leave this water soften them up. Here's our carrots. Still feel pretty hard and gross. Let's try cooking them on a pan and just see what happens. You know, I said this food was edible, but I never guaranteed it would be eatable. I'm going to throw a little more butter in with the 3 carrots that we just put on there. Brink. How about we wash up some of these dishes while they cook? Or you could just put them in the sink and wait for somebody else to do them. Okay, looks like the flower petals from the carrots are ready to be flipped. Come here and take a look. So see how they're turning this golden brown on the side that's on the bottom? So it's time to flip them over. Flip. If they hold together nice and firm, then you know that they're cooking right. If they're still flopping around, then that's not right. Looking good. And here's our disgusting carrots. They're looking like disgusting carrots. Might want to have somebody else try these. So it took about 4 minutes for that one side to turn golden brown. So another 3 minutes and those should be ready to go. What do you think we should eat them with? Ketchup? I like the way you think. Man! Maybe I'll have a swig of our blackberry iced tea that we made the other day while I'm at it. come on over. Take a look. They're cooked golden brown on both sides, so let's pop them off the stove. See how there's not really any bubbles at all, nothing boiling out, no hot splashes. That's why we use butter. Butter seems to work the best for that. So then what you can do, you're going to want your parents to do this. This pan is hot, but we're just going to set a paper towel on a plate and then set our flowers on there. And that'll let the fat. Ready to taste it? Here goes nothing. Pretty good. Hey, cameraman, why don't you try it? What says the cameraman? He approves. Okay, so I would say cooking the flowers, definitely a success. I'm even getting seconds. These disgusting roots though, we forgot to put our salt and pepper on these. While they're still warm from the grease, just take your salt and a little pepper. And there, now you're a real chef. It's basically all Chef Ramsay does, is throw salt and pepper on stuff. I actually like these a lot better than the lilies that we made. I could actually picture myself making these pretty often. And here they are. They look so pathetic and small. I feel like these would be the type of thing you would see like some fictional family in the Great Depression, like all sitting around a table, and the mother brings these 3 roots out of the kitchen, and this is what they all have to share for dinner. I don't even want to try it, but let's do it. I'll do it for you guys. It's like chewing on a stick. A stick that you can't chew or swallow. So there you have it. That's how you cook wild carrot roots. Might I suggest sticking to the flowers? So, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Edible Outdoors with me, your host, Chef Caleb. I really hope you enjoyed this first week at Camp Onseyawa 2020, and I will see you all next Monday. Have a great weekend. Picking all these carrots and cooking them, it kind of made me think of an old friend I used to have that really loved carrots. I think his name was Foo Foo. You want to hear a song about him? Okay, let me grab my oven guitar and we'll sing it. Oh, still kind of hot. Okay. Carrots, bunnies, Foo Foo. Little bunny foo-foo hopping through the forest, picking up the field mice and bashing them on the head. Down came the good fairy and she said, "Little bunny foo-foo, I want to see you picking up those field mice and bopping them on the head. I'm gonna
give you 3 chances. And if you keep bopping those field mice, I'm gonna turn you into a goon. Foo-Foo didn't really care that much. So the very next day, little bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, picking up the field mice and bashing them on the head. So then, down comes the good fairy, and she says, little bunny Foo-Foo, I don't want to see you picking up those field mice and bashing them on the head. I told you once before, and I'm only going to give you 2 more chances. If you keep it up, I'm going to turn you into a goon. 2 more chances, little bunny Foo-Foo thought. Well, that means I can do it 2 more times. So the very next day, little bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, picking up the field mice and bashing them on the head. Down came the good fairy, and she said, little bunny Foo-Foo, I don't want to see you picking up those field mice and bashing them on the head. I'm going to give you 1 more chance. And if you bash those mice on the head, so help me, I'm going to turn you into a goon. So, little bunny Foo-Foo thought to himself and said, yeah, I probably shouldn't do this anymore. She seems pretty serious. But the next day, there on a rock, was a helpless little there was a helpless little mouse, and little bunny Foo-Foo just couldn't resist. So, little bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, picked up that field mouse and bashed him on the head. And down came the good fairy, and she turned him into a goon. And that is why I don't want to see any of you kids picking up any field mice and bashing them on the head.